Hey everyone, this is Elias from RevMatch Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2023 Genesis Electrified G80 all-wheel drive. Yes, this thing is electric and charged with so much fun. Let's get started. We get started in the front and this thing looks really nice. First of all, this color. Now, I know this angle, you can't really see it that well because of the lighting, but it's a green color. That's what they label it as, but it looks green, it looks blue, it looks gray, it looks black sometimes, depending on the light. And it was funny because I went on a curbside pickup and you're supposed to input what color your vehicle is. And I literally had to open the door, look at it and say blue, because when the light was hitting it at that point, it looked blue, but it's such a really great sparkling color to it, but it's a green. They classify it as a green and it looks nice. So we have this really long hood. We have the Genesis badging here. I love this front end. The grille, I just noticed something that I hated on the other ones, which was the radar or the safety front detection systems. On the gas powered ones, this grille is hollow for obvious reasons, to get air flowing into the radiators, into the cooling system of an engine. But because this is a electric vehicle, you don't have to have that. And therefore that system gets hidden here and it looks just ever so slightly different than what the normal grille is. It's a nice clean look to it. And we have the front facing camera for the 360-degree view system that this has, which has been really helpful. The only to avoid obviously scraping the bottom when you get too close to the parking spot. The only thing though is this seems a little too off. I guess in a more safety oriented, what I mean by that is I'll look at the camera system and realize, oh, okay, I have to stop here or else I'm gonna hit the front lip. Then I come out and I'm about, gosh, I'd say about 2 feet or a foot and a half off of what you would see on the camera. So it is playing it on the safer side. So obviously be safe yourself and make sure you kind of start getting used to the actual point of the front of the car. So the alignment is slightly off for the more safer kind of setting, so to speak. Okay, so we're gonna pause right now because I actually forgot something, and this is a testament of Genesis design. Really cool, really simple, very clean design. And that is because this is an EV, it has a charger, and it has a charger in the front. So just a matter of pushing that area there, and that's where you have the EV connections. It's in the front, and you have a level 1, level 2, and level 3 charging on this. I've been using my Autel level 2 charger. It does have a level 1. Don't even bother with that. Get yourself a level 2 charger. I love my Autel one. I'll be putting it in the link in the description. But yeah, it's been great. Easy to charge this guy, and I'm able to monitor everything. But yeah, that's the crazy thing, is that it's so clean that I literally forgot. Oh, and guess what? With this being an EV, yes, I haven't forgotten, if you guys have watched my other EV vehicles reviews, I always forget to close the door. Not with this. I guess it's because it's in the front, but yeah, very easy to just kind of get that going. And let's go ahead and continue with the other front part. The headlights are beautiful. I love this design. Very sleek, very small. Just looks really cool to have just kind of these tiny strips. Don't worry, the light output is incredible. There's tons and tons of light that these little guys can output. And yeah, overall though, we have the nice bigger crest of the grille. It's a nice front end. I love the way that this looks. So let's go ahead and take a look at what's under this nicely sculpted hood. We get under the hood and there's a surprisingly amount of EV components visible. Yeah, this is the surprising thing. Some of these newer EVs, and we'll kind of rant time, so to speak, some of these vehicles you can't even open up the hood, some of these EV vehicles. And with this, you can open up the hood. It's a big opening too, and you could see virtually everything that's going on. That's kind of cool. I like that. So let's get started on a couple of things. So what we have under the hood is a 272 total kilowatt dual motor setup. So we have 136 in the front and 136 in the rear. That totals for 365 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque, and it has a capacity of 87.2 kilowatt battery system. Like I said, this is pretty cool to see that we have this. Now let's talk about the performance of it. The eco mode is great. It's gonna literally cut your power in half, to the point where I was flooring it and the tachometer has a little meter of power, and it literally limits you to half of it, which is good. If you need to make the most out of your power, out of your charge, that's what you're gonna want. But just be aware, you're not gonna be able to zip in and out of traffic with that eco mode. When you go comfort, it's gonna give you a little bit more, significantly more. And then we have the sport, which is gonna give you those bursts. Now, when we go from a stop in sport mode, it's gonna be very EV in the sense you're gonna get a massive boost of torque, and then it kind of falls flat at about 60 to 70 miles an hour. Anything beyond that, it's just lackluster compared to what you had before, compared to that 0 to 60 jolt of just going. And the first time that I put it in sport mode and I did that, it really surprised the hell out of me that this big guy got moving so fast. But performance was good otherwise than that. Charging has been really easy, especially with that front port. This is really cool to see, and we see different cooling systems here, but we do have a blue and we have a pink coolant, which is kind of cool to see. And then we have this cover, which, just like many other normal car covers, you can take off. And that's pretty big, and not gonna touch that because it's orange, and yeah, bunch of stickers do not touch. But just wanted to show you guys that this is pretty cool that we get to see this. So let's go ahead and put this cover on. It should be fairly easy to put on with those little rubber things. And let's go ahead and take a look at those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have this nice 19-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the 245/45 in the front, 275/40 in the rear. Now, a couple of things with this. The wheel design, love it. I've always loved that multi-spoke design. The color is nice. It's a little bit on the grayer, darker grayer tone to it. We have this kind of polished face on there. It's nice. I love it. Would I have liked a bigger wheel? Yes. I think 20-inch wheels would look good in this, but there's a reason for this. Because EV tires probably have it the worst right now because it has to do a lot of things. First, there is a significantly more weight when you're dealing with an EV of this size. So the tire has to be able to support that. Plus, we have the added grip that we need because some of these torque monsters are incredible, and it just has to ride significantly quieter because we now don't have engine noise to kind of cover up any more aggressive pattern that, you know, will make road noise. So there is a lot that it has to do. With this though, it's pretty successful at doing everything except the road noise. So we do hear a little bit of road noise when the road has like maybe consistent imperfection, so to speak, where there's like tiny little bumps. You will hear a louder. The cab is just so quiet. It is, and any little thing can get amplified. You're gonna have to raise the volume up a little bit in that system that's in there. But overall though, the grip was awesome. The braking power was incredible. Just the response to the grip and transferring the power where it needed to be was great. And it looks pretty cool. Yeah, I would have liked the 20-inch to just kind of look a little bit more VIP, so to speak, but it's still a nice design. Well, let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. We get to the side and we can see this is a pretty long sedan. Yeah, it's a big boy. It really is. And it looks really nice. There's some lines that, I don't know, I don't typically like in other vehicles, but in this one, it was successfully done, I think. So we first get started on that hood. Yeah, we have a nice, massive hood in the front. We have the nice 19-inch wheels. Again, I know for the efficiency side of things, we have the 19, but the 20s would 20s would definitely look better, I think, in something like this. And we have the headlights kind of peeking out. We have these side markers here, which look really nice. A nice touch to the fender line here. At the bottom, we have a nice little chrome accent, and we have the green. Yes, the green. It might look a little bit greener here, but and it looks really green when I'm up close. But again, it shifts and it has a really cool color scheme to it. And we have the chrome outer edge. Yes, I know I like black more, but it doesn't look bad with the chrome on here. And this is the line I'm talking to you guys about. I don't like it in the A7s. I guess in that kind of sport back look to things. So it does look nicer in this. I do love that kind of swooping down and a little bit of a spoiler there, which we'll take a look. But overall though, I do love the side profile of this. Now, I don't have the key fob with me because it's actually on the camera, and when I get close to it, it does have the proximity to open up. So I'll go ahead and let me grab it off camera. So I have the key fob. I'll go ahead and put it in my pocket, and as soon as I get near it, the mirror does that. I put my hand in and I can go ahead and open, and I'm good to go. Now with that, I'll go ahead and push the little button to lock it, and I can go ahead and test the back. And yeah, there's no sensor in the back, so you do have to kind of do that and open it up. You're good to go. You're in, everyone is in, and you're set. Now, I figured let's go ahead and test something out that this has. I'm hoping this works. So I'll go ahead, and it does have remote start, which is good. Unfortunately, it's not, it's electric, so it's kind of hard to hear it when you're in the house compared to, let's say, a big roaring American V8. But we'll go ahead and do the remote start. And the reason we're gonna do the remote start is because, so we have the remote start, we are going to use the smart park function. Let's see if it works. Hopefully it does. Okay. So let's go ahead and get it off of the frame. That's pretty cool. It's pretty crazy. And now we're gonna go ahead and bring it back. Let me see if I can catch it at the correct framing. Yes, there's no one in the vehicle right now. It's just me. Let me see if I can catch it. Right there. That's pretty ridiculous. So it looks like I got it. So let's go ahead and see what we have in the back. We get to the back and we can see this thing is really nice. I love the design. We do have that sport back look to it, where it's just a very big continuation from the roof to the rear window and the trunk itself. But I don't know, I feel like this was done a little bit better than, again, some of those other sportbacks that I'm not too keen on their design, but it looks really good. Big window. Again, we have the rear trunk. We have this little lip that is just a subtle little thing. It's metal, so it's not a stuck-on component. It is part of the trunk line itself, and it looks really, really good. I love that. We have the taillights. The taillights have a cool design to them. I love the fact that it's not like one big assembly. We have these kind of two little strips, and they look really good. We have the nice big Genesis badging on there, and of course, we don't have any exhaust tips because this is an electric vehicle. So, couple of things. We have the option to push there. We open up the trunk, and it's pretty big, but not as big as the gas powered one, because you could see the big humps of the electric motors right in there. So there is a bigger hump. So it does take a good amount. I would probably say about a little under, probably about a quarter of the size of the trunk if it didn't have that there. So take into account that. It still doesn't mean it's small, because it is still a massive amount of space that is available for this trunk area here. And yeah, we'll go ahead and just close that off. And that's really it to the rear. There's not much to it. We do have the remote start. Again, there is a no sound, no engine rumbling, so just be aware. You're gonna hear some beeps, but they're very subtle, not too much. And there you go. Let's go ahead and hop in and go for a ride. You get inside of the electrified G80, and it's nice. It's Genesis, and that is a good thing. The finishes are unique. The colors are unique. The quality is really, really good. We can start on the door, and we have this like bluish green color to the top leather part. It's very comfortable for you to put your arm to rest there. Also on the bottom armrest, no complaints there. Your hand falls right on the window switches. And we have a couple of things here. We have the obviously the mirror positioning is good there. We have the locking normal, up and down window switches. The child lock, yes, we have the child lock on the driver door, which is a nice touch. It makes things easier. Especially that I'm constantly switching between press cars, and I'm always having to, oops, forgot, and go hit that little switch for my kiddo just in case he decides to start messing with things. But it's nice that we have it here on the door. And the speaker system, the Lexicon speaker, looks really nice. It sounds incredible. Now you're probably wondering, well, I've never heard of Lexicon. You have heard their stuff. So Lexicon, being an audio engineer, very popular with reverb units in recording studios. So I can guarantee you've heard songs, many songs that have used their units. And let's just say it makes this car sound like you're in the recording studio right there with the artist. So it sounds really, really great. And again, that aluminum finish is a nice touch to it, or that metal graded finish looks really good. We get to the seats, and the seats are incredibly comfortable. They are white, yes, I know. So yeah, just make sure you get your cleaner, make sure you get your leather cleaner. But the Nappa leather is beautiful. It's super comfortable. I have heated and vented options. I am running the vented options right now because it is 82 degrees and it's like not even 9 o'clock. So it's scorching hot, and it will be scorching hot today. And these seats do a great job at making sure that you're nice and comfortable and cooled down when you need to be. But adjustability is there. There's tons of options. There's even massage options. So yeah, I just reminded myself, I'm gonna go ahead and turn that on. I'm gonna do the whole body stretching mode that they have. Now it is a little kind of on the, whoa, it's shifting me. It'll shift you a lot. So like where the seating area, it just kind of massages each butt cheek, but it kind of lifts you up to a good amount. But it's good. It's nice and comfortable. It does relax you. No issues with it. Again, they just look great. When you switch over to sport mode on the drive modes, it does squeeze the side bolsters a little bit more to make sure you're nice and tight if you decide to take some spirited turns in this. But yeah, overall though, I really love the design and the feel to the seats. We get over to the steering wheel, and the steering wheel is nice. Again, we have that like bluish green leather wrapped around the wheel. It's nice feel to it. The stitching is nice. We have white. We have this kind of white area in the middle for the airbag area and the buttons. I will tell you, yeah, the buttons being in white is going to be tricky because from the previous person that borrowed it, you can kind of see, or previous people that have borrowed it, you could see that it's starting to get kind of dirty. So yeah, again, more cleaner for this kind of colored interior. And on the left hand side, we do have your talk buttons there. We do have your star mode, which is basically like a shortcut to anything in virtually anything in the infotainment system, which is a nice little touch. The volume knob, it's nice. I love it. It's the Mercedes style volume knob that I love. That's like a cheese grater. So yes, I do love this, except that it's kind of off to the side too much. So when you're kind of turning, you have a tendency of raising the volume because you kind of do one of those. So yeah, that's kind of the only thing. I wish it were maybe pushed in a little bit more so that your palm doesn't hit that. And on the right hand side, we have your cruise control settings and the options to control the gauge cluster on there as well. But yeah, nice design down here. It's super comfortable to just kind of hold on to the wheel on long trips if you don't need to be, you know, really on the aggressive side of things of grabbing the wheel. So nice touch to it. And when we get to the gauge cluster, this is awesome. I love this gauge cluster because it does have like a 3D mode. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to capture it that well on camera, but it is super cool to kind of see so much depth in this, and especially when you're dealing with like the middle screen that really almost pops out at you. And on the speedometer, it just has these different levels of depth to it. The other thing I love as well, with this being the Genesis, it takes over the cameras on the sides of the mirrors to be able to project it on one of those. And it's super clear, super responsive. So again, you can just switch to make sure your blind spots are clear to switch lanes. So it is a nice touch to that. I do, again, love this option. And again, when we switch over to the different drive modes, you'll see that the gauge cluster itself does change in the different looks to it. So just really, really cool stuff. And the content, it's okay. That's the only thing that was kind of lackluster, I would say. There's nothing super cool other than really just the power distribution. So the battery, if it's charging or regenerating, and you know, if it's using power for the front or the back, with this being an all-wheel drive model. But yeah, overall though, nice touch, nice view to it with that 3D mode. Then we get over to the infotainment system, and the infotainment screen is really nice. It's super long. It is on the shorter side, which is nice. It doesn't kind of go over the windshield, so it keeps your visibility nice and clear. And it's been good. It's been good. No complaints there. Obviously, we have your Apple CarPlay. It is not wireless Apple CarPlay. That is a big problem. We do have a wireless charger, and I haven't been able to use it or know how good it is because there's no point in having it if I have to plug in my phone to do Apple CarPlay. Yeah, rant over. But other than that though, we have a nice display. We have you know, all the different modes. We have the seat settings. We have a quiet mode as well, which is nice to make sure that any notifications, things like that, are kind of hushed in case your little ones are asleep in the back. But overall though, it is a nice clear screen. I love it. I've been pretty much the whole time in the Apple CarPlay, but you also have, you know, some fun things like EV, or you can see, okay, basically set up your EV charging times, you know, where's the next EV charging station, things like that. But overall, like I said, I've been in Apple CarPlay, and you do have the split view down over here, where you're able to just kind of switch between like a mini display on the right side. We come down here to the AC controls, and the AC controls have been really nice. I love the way that this looks, way it works, and it's been good. It's been good. I've been able to switch between, you know, get it super cold and then kind of, you know, warm it up a little bit because maybe we went a little too cold. But it's been really nice. I love the touch feel to it. So it's a screen and no complaints. You know, I've been able to touch and it's been responsive. It's been great. I really love this. One thing I forgot, the finish to this. We have this wood that just looks incredible, this matte wood, and it's got this like marbled, like oil slicked color to it. It looks unbelievable. This finish has been incredible, and it feels good to just kind of touch it. It really does. So I love the finishes to this. We come down and we have the wireless charger, which again, it's useless because we can't have Apple wireless CarPlay in this. So yeah, I've just been using the cable. Even my wife had her cable, and because again, it's in the front here, we don't have any other connection. My phone has had to just be in the area where the wireless charger would be. So she just ended up getting another cable and putting her phone in that little cubby area there. So yeah, this has been pretty much useless for a wireless charger. We come back a little bit more and we have the kind of the control center area for the infotainment system. We have the volume on the left, we have the tune on the right. Again, it's kind of like that cheese grater finish to it, which I really love. We have a back button in case you want to go to the previous section in the menu, the home, and then the menu itself. And then we have the dial itself where you can go from option to option. This has been great, except it's useless down here and forward. This should be on the back side of things, because on the back side of things, we have the gear selector, or yeah, so we have that. And what's funny is my hand, when I have it on the armrest, is gonna fall on that knob to switch between reverse, neutral, and drive. And honestly, you put it in drive and you're not really moving, you're not needing to move it as much as you would the infotainment option, which is the frustrating thing, because I wish that were closer to my hand so that it lays there and I can do that. My wife said, okay, I wasn't the only one that experienced that, because there were times where she had accidentally moved it to neutral. She was at a stop and she moved it to neutral thinking she was gonna switch something, and then light turns green, she goes to go and it wasn't moving, and then she realized, yeah. So I don't know, just I guess bad design or ergonomic design. I wish that were switched between them, because it would definitely work a lot better and give you a better experience. On the right hand side, we have the cup holders. They are really good, you know, no complaints there. They do have some gap between them, so if you do have big cups, it's going to be welcoming to those big cups, so that they don't touch and just kind of, you know, fit in there nicely and correctly. We come back a little bit more and we have the drive mode buttons, which is nice. We have the parking camera system, which has been great, especially when we have really big wheels and we want to make sure that we don't touch that. And also the front really kind of like sinks down, so it's making sure you don't bust that front bumper. So it's been really good there. We come back and we have the armrest. The armrest has been nice and comfortable. The leather is so soft and it's just really good feel to it. And we have it split, so again, we can open up one half and then open up the other half. But yeah, there's not much space in here. I don't think you could really fit the my typical tissue box test that I do. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna fit because of the width. So it does kind of do that. You don't have a USB charger in here. You do have a 12-volt adapter here, so you're gonna have to use one of those to charge any accessory if you'd like on there. Then we get to the back, and the back is super comfortable. There is seating for 3. Right now we do have it down the middle area for the armrest that my kiddo has been loving, that has the built-in cup holders. So it's really nice. He's been comfortable, no complaints. This has probably been the car that he's been the quietest in, because it just relaxes him to be back there in those nice plushy rear seats. And one thing that was really nice, this does have a rear screen, so you are able to have that come up so that you can block out a little bit of sun. And right now, with the way that the weather is, any sun blocking out or cooling is gonna really help. So I love that. It's been pretty much up the whole time. It does automatically go down when you go into reverse, but yeah, that's what we've had. And he has the screens as well. So we do have little privacy screens, or the peasant screens as I like to call them, which again have been nice to just kind of block out a little bit more of the sun when you're at a stop. Then the trunk area, it's big, but again, those electric motors are taking up space, and we have that hump, which makes cargo stuff kind of awkward to deal with. So that's kind of been a yeah, so it does limit the amount of things you can carry in this compared to the gas powered one, which had an insane amount of storage space back there. Now let's talk performance. We're dealing with a total of 272 kilowatt dual motor setup, and it is cranking out 365 horsepower and 516 pound-feet of torque. The battery capacity is 87.2 kilowatt per hour. Now, this thing is pretty crazy. So right now we've been in eco mode, so it's been kind of relaxed. My throttle inputs have been, you know, really reduced. When you floor it all the way, so we have a tachometer or power meter. It only limits you to half the power when you're in EV mode or eco mode. So I'm gonna go ahead and switch us to sport. And even though, yeah, that's a lot of torque, it feels like so much more. And you kind of need it in the big car like this if you want to have some fun. Now, you still feel the weight of it when you're turning and things like that. But let's go ahead and we'll hold the brake, hold the gas, and go. Ooh. Ooh, yeah. So this thing goes. A couple of things. The initial bite is very electric, you know, it just kind of goes, and you kind of plateau at about 60 miles an hour or so, or it feels like it starts to plateau in power. Very EV, typical of, okay, yeah, you have that massive burst, but then it just kind of settles in a little bit. But it's still fun. It's still fun to get this guy kind of going. Now, we do have on the steering wheel, we do have the regenerative setting. So if you put it on one pedal drive, this has been really good at one pedal drive. When you're not in a lot of stop and go traffic or unpredictable stop and go traffic, because it's kind of like, okay, you're kind of back off, and it does kind of a two-stage braking where it's like kind of softly and then a little bit kind of abrupt. And it's not that I'm not modulating the pedal correctly, because I'll kind of back off of it and stay in that spot, and it gives me the soft and then a little bit more aggressive. And I kind of saw my my wife just kind of leaning forward every time it kind of kicked in. So it was just, I know she was gonna get annoyed, because I was starting to get annoyed with it. So I went ahead and I took off the iPedal, what they call, when I was in that unpredictable stop and go traffic. But in normal everyday where everyone's kind of behaving, it's great. I love it. But it's great because you can kind of learn throttle response and throttle feathering. But this has been great. The sport mode, again, it just, the first time that I put it in sport mode and just went, it was really like, whoa. Your line of sight, you have to be a little bit further out than than what you think, because by the time you're at the point where you're viewing, it's behind you. So it's been great. Now, the brakes have been really good. I love the feel to the pedal. The suspension has been nice and soft and comfortable, because you want this thing to be comfortable. And right now in sport mode, it's not bad. It still gives you a little bit of comfort, but a little bit tightened up. It does still feel heavy. It feels incredibly heavy for a vehicle like this. Yeah. Yeah, those tires are suffering right now, but it does feel heavy in a good way though. So it feels in that heavy way of, yeah, just comfort, luxury, just kind of chill and relax. So I'll go ahead and switch it over to comfort, and it really is comfortable. It's super comfortable. It's nice and calm. That's one of the things with this, is I drove in stop and go traffic, and after I took off the one pedal driving, I was fine. I was super relaxed in this. I could have stayed in it for forever till I ran out of battery power. Yeah. I didn't, but you know, you get what I mean. But it's just been really nice to have. The only thing though, the tires, as you guys probably heard, I don't know if it'll translate over the mic, the tires do give you a little bit more audible sound to it when the road is maybe not perfectly smooth, and there's maybe like a little bit of a pattern of like, I don't know, like little bumps. You'll hear it. You'll hear it a lot more than other cars. And yes, it's because this is EV. If we had a gas-powered engine in this, we probably wouldn't hear that over the engine sound itself. The other thing I love about this is we don't have the four-wheel steering. Yes, I know some of you guys are like, wait, what are you talking about? Even though it would make this 3-point stop significantly easier, or a lot, you know, tighter, that we can be a little bit less, let me get to the edge kind of situation. I don't like the rear wheel steering in Genesis. It feels like you have a ball in the middle of the car, and the car just rotates in an awkward kind of angle. So I'm glad we don't have it in this, because I don't like it. Mercedes has gotten it down. Mercedes EQS has been incredible. Ooh, we switched over to sport mode, and the seat hugged me a little bit because it knows we're gonna do another launch. So let's go. Ooh. And the first time I really launched this thing, Yeah, I was not predicting it and I felt sick from it. Yeah, you get that EV sickness when you're like, okay, cool, maybe I have to view a little bit further out for it. But overall though, this thing has been incredible. It's been a lot of fun. It's been a lot of fun in the most relaxing way. I'll say that. Oh yeah. And the power distribution is just really there. Everything is really, really nicely set up for this. Now, what would I get besides this? I don't know. Genesis has really carved out a spot, and the reason why I say I don't know is because the next thing that kind of comes to mind for something like this is the Mercedes EQS, but that's significantly more money. And yeah, yeah, you're paying for the badge, you're paying for the badge, but get over the badge and I can tell you this is incredible. Again, the finishes, the look to it, the feel to it has been incredible in this Genesis Electrified G80. Well guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Genesis Electrified G80. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.